We're now going to hear from Burton Fischman. Burton Fischman. He is a Rhode Island native, and you're very proud of being from the Northeast. This is good. Burt, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with what you have been able to be a part of and what you've been able to create through the years. He founded the communication department of Bryant University, the sister school of Brown, and he taught there for 35 years. He's been a consultant and a motivational speaker for more than 100 businesses and organizations. You've authored several books about leadership development and public speaking. Burton is very active in the conservative Jewish movement's men's club, and he also founded the Leadership Development Institute, married to Rhoda, and we also know Burton as Gail Simon's dad. So you go by a lot of titles. So please come forward. We're all looking very forward to hearing your words.
Shabbat Shalom. Opportunities and challenges to get involved and that lead to things that turn out to be Hineini experiences. I never really look for them, but somehow they look for me. And I am involved in some wonderful things at this currently, and I beg your indulgence while I give you a little history of myself, how I happen to end up doing what I'm doing. As Rabbi Cohen said, I retired from Bryant University in 2001. I started there it was 1966. I think John Wilkes Booth was active in Lincoln. He was quite a president, you know. And in the event, I retired, and Rhoda and I are spending an awful lot of time going back and forth from Green Airport in Providence, Rhode Island to O'Hare, and we're using up my portfolio, flying back and forth. I said, it's getting ridiculous. So we sat down and talked it over, and we said, well, why don't we just pick up roots and move to the Midwest? And she sold her beautiful Judaica shop, very reluctantly. It was magnificent. And we pulled up stakes, and we moved to beautiful downtown Mundelein. I don't know if they have a downtown. I don't think they have either a downtown or an uptown, but it's a nice place to live. And because the reason we moved there, of course, is we wanted to be near our daughter and our son-in-law. We won't mention a family name, but it's Simon. And to be near our 3 wonderful grandchildren. And I ask you, are there any other kinds of children than wonderful grandchildren? In any event, we settled in, and we were so happy. We did the right thing moving to the Midwest. And I found myself with time on my hands, and I didn't know what to do. I just loved getting up in the morning. No papers to correct and no publications to worry, no pressure on that. And I was looking for things to do. And one day I looked in the Daily Herald, and there was an article about 2 young fellows, 65, who became certified fitness trainers. And I've always believed in exercise. I always thought it was important. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I got 2 professional mentors, and I signed on a program. And on my 80th birthday, I became a certified fitness trainer. You can applaud. It's okay. That was wonderful. You know, I was written up with the Chicago Sun-Times, the Daily Herald, Mundelein Review. I got written up here and there, and I started getting invitations to come out and to put on programs, you know. And I wasn't interested in really the one-on-one rigorous training. What I wanted to do was to inspire people to make exercise an integral part of their lives, which is so very, very important. So I went out and I gave presentations, and they said, you know, you connect pretty nicely with audiences. What else do you do? We have you back. I said, well, as a matter of fact, when I was a teenager, I used to go up to the Catskills, the Borscht Belt. Who knows where the Borscht Belt is? Yeah, sure you know, right? So I was a teenager. Now, this is the days when there's no air conditioning, you know, no television. Oh, New York and New Jersey empty out every weekend. They went up there, And if you wanted to be in show business, and everybody I knew wanted to be in show business, I was a piano player and I told jokes, and I went up there and my mother threw me out of the house. Go, Gesundheit, $15 and they'll feed you, get out. And it was wonderful. And I worked in the same hotel that Buddy Hackett worked, the Swan Lake Inn. I followed him, Buddy Hackett and Jerry Lewis, all those guys. I knew them all, and I had a wonderful time. And then I found out when you get married and have 3 children, you have to make a living on a regular basis. I became a teacher, professor, etc. So when they asked me, can you do anything else other than the fitness, I said, I can put together a little program of music and piano and tell a few stories. And I started going out. But then one day, I get a call from Autumn Leaves. Now, that's an Alzheimer's facility. And a woman said, would you put on a program for us? I said, well, wait a minute. I said, I don't know. I mean, you just do not walk into an Alzheimer's facility. You have to know what you're about. Sometimes, God love them, the behavior is not quite predictable. You have to know what you're about. I thought about it, and I said, this is a challenge. And I said, will you trust me? And she says, I trust you. So I went to work and I studied, and I found out, doing some research, that 2 things that work very well with Alzheimer's people. One is piano playing, and the other is old-time songs. So I studied and I worked on this thing, and I put a program together, and I went to the facility, and I walked in. I went in nice and early, and I walked around, and I walked up to one woman, and I wanted to familiarize myself. I wanted to warm up before I started. And I said, hello, sweetheart, what is your name? So she says, Mabel. I said, that rhymes with table. Well, she smiled and she thought that was hilarious. And I asked another one, what's your name? And she says, Barbara. I said, I know who you are. You're Barbara Streisand. Well, she smiled, and it was, I kind of warmed them up, and they really enjoyed it. So then I started my program, and I came up with a concept that worked. And what I did was, I did old-time songs, but I left openings in the song to see if they would engage, get involved, you know what I'm saying? And so I said, I'm looking over they shouted out, a 4-leaf clover that I overlooked before they got ready. You're ready to go, too. Try me on the next one. Ain't she sweet? So you're coming down the... Now I ask you very confidentially, ain't she? And they all got into it, and by the end of the hour, they were all singing and participating in the program. And I'll tell you, my heart was lifted, and when I finished, I walked around, and they reached out for me, and I'm choked up reminiscing, and I do this all the time. They came and reached out, thank you for coming. Are you coming back soon? And my heart was warmed, and I was all choked up on the way home. It was a Hineini moment. And subsequent to that, I've been back. I'm very happy to tell you, I've been back there 6 times. They want me back again. I've been into a half a dozen other Alzheimer's facilities. And the approach I take is never to talk down, never to talk out, but to talk with them with respect and love and sincerity, and they respond beautifully. And I'd also share with you the same approach I've used. In the last year and a half, I've spoken at assisted living facilities. Now there, the folks have physical impediments and problems, so they're a little more coherent. They do have dementia, some severe, not so severe, but the same approach, love, attention, sincerity. And I've been in the last year and a half to over 40 different assisted living facilities. And I could share with you so many heartwarming stories, but my message is that we all need to be open to the opportunity to serve, to meet a challenge. And it is not in discovering it, it is in doing it that you discover this beautiful thing that we call Hineini.